Trek News!
What's the matter with me? Ah! That's it. A little higher. Push hard.
Oh my.
Welcome to Star Trek News.
I'm your host, Jason.
And I'm Rich.
Welcome to today's show, Rich. I hope everyone out there is excited. What the fuck are you laughing at?
I couldn't be that lame and not laugh. I need like a boing.
Do you see what I got back here?
I see a table with a shuttlecraft.
Guided action figure.
Guinan.
Fully articulated guided action figure with super punch.
Is it anatomically correct?
I don't know. You can look up her skirt, but there's nothing up there.
An approach.
It's almost like she's made of the same material as the dress.
Interesting.
Yeah. So, I'm sorry, you couldn't see Guinan back here?
I can. I couldn't tell who it was, but...
What if I did this?
Now I can't see anything. Now I see Kentucky Fried Chicken.
Yeah, now you see what's there. You fat person.
Are you trying to say that I associate more with Kentucky Fried Chicken than I do with Guinan?
I bet your eyes were drawn to it much faster than before.
It's only because it's red.
You know, fast food restaurants use the color red because it somehow invokes like a primal feeling in us.
Something like that.
That's why like 90% of food places have red in their logo.
Yeah.
Oh, hey, what's the show about? Star Trek?
Yeah.
Hey, welcome to Star Trek News. Guess what?
So we talked about Discovery in our last episode. We both agreed to watch season 1 again.
Oof.
Which we did.
Well, not all the way. I'm currently at season 1, episode 10.
Close
I have
enough.
seen season 1 all the way through. And I forgot that I actually liked Discovery when it first came out.
Yeah, so I was kind of on the same wavelength there. I was watching it, trying to figure out what I hated about it, and I couldn't come up with anything.
I got the explanation. So Discovery has the show Alex Kurtzman. Everyone knows about Alex Kurtzman.
Mm-hmm.
But Discovery originally had attached to them original Star Trek writers. Brian Fuller. Hold on. I should have had this like up and ready. Quick vamp.
Well, anyways, I couldn't figure out why I hated it, and so I've enjoyed it, believe it or not.
Really?
Yeah.
I enjoyed it the first time around, and that's what... Get to the good stuff. My issue with the show is it just progressively goes more and more up its own ass. Oh, here we go. Here's a quote from Alex Kurtzman. The defining factor of Roddenberry's vision is the optimistic view of the future. Once you lose that, you lose the essence of what Star Trek is. The question is, how do you preserve and protect what Starfleet is in the weight of a challenge like war and the things that have to be done in the face of war? That is a quote from Alex Kurtzman.
That's interesting.
Yeah.
I mean, basically, he's creating a piece of the timeline that never existed. But we talked about it in other shows. But
well, yeah, and they said when they settled on what Discovery was that it was going to be in the Prime universe, even though it heavily draws from J.J. Abrams' Star Trek movies with special effects and the view screens and everything. Everything screams this is J.J. first, but it takes place in the crimes. It doesn't even matter because they shoot off 1,000 years into the future. Spoiler alert.
Right.
So yeah, the first season, it's so hard to like keep track because they've changed writers so many times. Brian, okay, at the beginning of his career writing for the series, this is the guy that wrote for Deep Space Nine and Voyager, Brian Fuller. he was announced as a series showrunner and co-creator alongside Kurtzman.
Okay.
So this is a guy that had been writing for Star Trek. And I think that's why I like season 1 more than the others, because it has somebody from the old. Oh, and Trevor Roth, Brickleberry Entertainment, also joins. I don't know who that guy is, but I've been trying to pay attention of who's writing and producing each episode. So, how many producers do you think a typical show has? I'm talking like producer, co-producer.
I don't know. No more than 2 or 3, probably.
Yeah. Discovery has 20.
Why?
I don't know. And that might have something to do. That might have something to do with the show seeming like it's being pulled in 20 million directions at once.
Maybe, because you've literally
season 1's pretty solid.
I like it, and I like the callbacks. I like Harry Mudd and Sarek.
You like Mudd? A lot of people say they don't like what's his face's portrayal of Mudd.
Really?
No, yeah, and I was like, I don't get it because I love. He does. If you watch the old school Star Trek, which his character is based on, very much from the old. Have you seen the old?
Episode? Yeah. It's been a couple years, but I did watch it all the way through.
He does a really good job at creating like an updated version of that character, even though it's predating. All right, I'm gonna get a headache. So I started watching. I was gonna make a little video about it. Like I set an alarm clock and woke myself up. I was like, I'm gonna act like today's my job to watch Discovery.
How'd that go?
I started to write notes.
Yeah.
Starting with episode 1, and I think I got about 8 pages,
Jeez.
and then I got a hand cramp because I wasn't even on episode 4 yet, and I was like, all right, this is too much. And they weren't bad notes. I wasn't dissing it. Everyone's like, you just hate new Trek because you don't like new things and blah, blah, blah. I'm like, no, I don't like bad writing. I like season 1.
Where did Enterprise fall in the timeline between Discovery and the original series?
This is like, I don't know, like 100 years after Enterprise. Oh, I had the timeline too.
So Enterprise, then Discovery, then the original series in the timeline.
Yeah.
Okay. One thing that I it's a little off-putting for me, and I try not to think about it too much because, if I don't think about it, it doesn't matter. But the actual special effects of Discovery, I can't wrap my head around the fact that it's before the original series. Because it's so crappy.
That's one thing I'll forgive. Nothing's ever gonna look like the 60s.
And then I realized that that's my issue with Enterprise too. I've never been able to watch Enterprise all the way through, and my issue is it doesn't look prior to, and it feels weird.
Have you really looked? Nothing is ever going to look TOS. I have a feeling they're definitely pushing towards that in the new Strange New Worlds.
But that's my favorite thing about the old sci-fis is how crappy they looked. Like,
well, we're never going to have the crappy cardboard sets again. Like unfortunately, that's where Star Trek started.
Yeah,
we're supposed to move away from that. Which the problem is when you try to do prequels.
Yeah,
how do we make that look like it fits in here? I actually think Enterprise does a better job. Discovery actually makes no attempt.
No, not at all.
No attempt. They're just straight touchpads and holograms, things that didn't exist in TOS, which drives me insane.
Yeah.
Within canon, which they say they're within canon, Starfleet did not even bother trying to make holographic view screens until Deep Space Nine.
Wow.
The Defiant got its first holographic view screen, and I think Cisco's talking to another captain. He's like, I can't get used to this. I'm like, I feel like I'm on your bridge. I think that only lasted for a few episodes, and they dropped it. But apparently, we had this technology way back in Discovery's time.
Maybe it's just the captain's going to get used to it, so they just didn't use it. It was there, but
there is a throwaway line that season 2 of Discovery, spoiler, the Enterprise is there, Captain Pike.
Yeah. I did know that. It is a spoiler if you haven't seen it, but I did know that.
There was some disaster happened on the Enterprise that caused Pike to have to take over the Discovery because the Enterprise was disabled. There's a throwaway line that what disabled the ship was related to the holographic projection system. So he said something in one of the episodes. He's like, "Yeah, I want that whole thing gutted. Take it all out. We'll just use view screens." So, and that's literally the
one throwaway line to make it make sense.
Yeah,
for everything after.
That's why it blew up the Enterprise.
Interesting.
Yeah, that's like your big screen TV, like.
But then you get to like Voyager in the time frame, and we have a holographic doctor that walks around everywhere.
Yeah, so we do have holographic technology, and that's after
Next Gen.
Deep Space Nine after they tried to do view screen.
Right.
It just doesn't make sense. Like holograms, that's so Star Wars.
Yeah.
Like, and there's actually, what's that? There's a company right now that's trying to create a holographic television. It's like a phone booth-sized box that you keep in your house, and you can make a call to somebody else that has the phone booth-sized box, and they can you can actually see the person.
That'd be cool if they actually made it look like a phone booth.
Dude, look it up. It's literally just a white box, the size, tall enough for a person to like.
Yeah, they should put a facade on it and make it look like a phone booth, and then you can put it in the corner of your room,
like an English like a
Doctor Who, yeah.
Doctor Who's artist. Yeah.
Yes.
Okay. So I started watching the show, and I was like, all my hatred towards Star Trek sort of wiped my brain because I liked the first season of Star Trek Discovery. Yeah. As much as that hurts me to say. It's not great. It's not perfect. But if you look at any season 1 of Star Trek, they suck.
Well, they're trying to find themselves at that.
Yeah, they got to find their footing.
And I got to say, I agree. I went back and rewatched it. I have seen season 1 previously when it first came out. And I don't remember having good feelings about it. And then watching it through a second time, I'm enjoying it.
The feelings, I'm thinking first time around, the feelings were like, oh, it's too dark. It's too violent.
It is very dark,
And looking back, I miss Lorca as a captain. I liked the way his dynamic was. He was like this, like, he wasn't like badass. He was just like this, he wasn't like a regular captain.
Right.
He was like no nonsense, like, he
bent the rules, but he
had PTSD. Yeah. There was like a study, he had PTSD, so they kind of followed this plot until it turns out what's really going on, which is the episode I'm on now.
Yeah,
with the mirror universe. But they they're looking into like the effects of PTSD because he was captured and tortured by the Klingons and stuff. And
I think that the what contributes to the darkness and what makes the darkness work is the fact that this is during the timeline when they were at war with the Klingons. So it is war and it is dark. It's nothing fun about war, and you can't have sex with aliens when you're at war.
But there was still some levity, like characters like Tilly and Stamets, and to some degree, Burnham like trying to learn to be human.
Yeah,
and she, this is what I would say. One of my notes is she is so Vulcan at the beginning of Discovery, like the first.
And what's really funny is she's not Vulcan at all.
No, she was raised by Vulcan.
Yeah,
so she acts Vulcan,
but she isn't actually blood Vulcan.
But the problem with the switching of writers between seasons and in the middle of seasons, the problem with the show is just they keep switching writers and people keep changing the story. Somebody had an idea for the story. Brian Fuller, like I said, the first guy that was involved.
Mm-hmm.
I guess sort of feel where the writers started switching and it started becoming somebody else's story.
Yeah.
Basically, you're like, well, I didn't like Brian Fuller's story, so I'm going to start writing away from it to my own thing, and that's what it feels like. The show feels like it's constantly doing that.
Yeah.
Season 1 kind of feels like 2 seasons because it feels like season 1 ends when they fought the Klingons and blew up their ship, and then it feels like the next season should have been Mirror Universe.
Yeah, I could see that
because that's where I am right now.
But then you have to balance, like, do we make short seasons or do we keep long seasons?
I think you're what 10? I forgot how many.
14, I think, on the first
14.
season.
Okay. Here, let me see. Maybe someday I'll make a video about
Let's
this.
see.
I wrote
15 episodes.
Okay. Here's my notes. Episode 1, The Vulcan Hello. I wrote, Klingons look cool. I have no problem with the way the Klingons look. Everyone's big thing was like, well, then why do you change the way the Klingons look? I'm like, whatever. Second note is, did they bother to use the real Klingon language? Because everything is in subtitles.
Yes.
With the clan. And the answer is yes.
So the people that have taken the time to actually learn this fake language don't have to read the subtitles.
Yes. Okay, so other note is within the first 10 minutes of the very first episode, they break the Prime Directive. Even though they're talking about the Prime Directive, they mention it and then they break it in the same. That's with, it starts out with Burnham and Giorgio.
Yeah.
They're walking around on a desert planet and they make water shoot up from the ground for the species. Starfleet's not supposed to do that. For a non-warp capable species, we're not supposed to do that.
Yeah.
So anyway, and they actually are talking about the Prime Directive right before they go and do that. So I'm like, dude.
Yeah, but they called it what, like Directive 1 or the first.
They say Directive 1. Yeah,
something like
that. Which I'm assuming is the Prime Directive doesn't exist yet or whatever. Is that what they're getting at?
That's kind of what that was my interpretation.
Okay.
But I don't know.
I wrote the desert aliens look cool. You know, the egg sacs and the weird shrimp things that come out of the water.
Yes.
I wrote USS Shenzhou looks cool. Shenzhou looks cool. I have basically I say all of the effects, ship models, the CG, the makeup, everything looks great. Like better than a movie. I wrote the idea of making a Star Trek symbol out of their tracks during a windstorm is a really stupid idea.
Yeah, because the wind is going to blow it away.
Right.
You know. But whatever. You mentioned the Klingons, too.
Yeah.
I have a comparison here.
Is that the... Are we going to show the...
It's on the screen. You can take a look.
Oh, yeah. So we have the TOS. TOS were literally white guys in blackface.
Yeah. But, you got to think, like, prosthetics weren't like as good as they are today, obviously.
No, like you're saying, the cardboard budget that TOS had, they couldn't afford to do much. They're like, blackface, and you're evil. There you go. They at least kept the goatees, eyebrows and the goatees they stuck with. Even when JJ's the third picture there, JJ Abram. No, this wasn't even J. No, it was Into Darkness. I keep saying JJ verse. He only had to do with the first one. He wasn't involved in the second and third, I don't believe.
No, I don't.
But I had no problem with those Klingons. I thought those.
I think they're similar enough where you get the idea. I mean, it's everybody's going to have their own artistic expression.
If we're not going to get Prime Universe, old school Star Trek, then fine, you can go with your own vision. That's great. Actually, I feel like the Klingons were more interesting because they had different skin tones. They just weren't all these same brown, identical looking people. Like there was an albino Klingon.
Yes. And I like how they made it like that person was the outcast. Like they weren't.
They poo-pooed on him.
Because it just shows like the type of culture they are is very aggressive, very xenophobic.
They show flashbacks of him just getting beaten up as a kid for like no reason.
Yeah.
He's like, hey, you're on my property. And you're like,
get off my lawn.
One thing I noticed about the Klingons is the mouth aesthetics were even more in the way of the actors. Tukuma sounds like this whenever he talks. I am Tukuma.
Yeah.
If you listen to the old, they had to wear fake teeth prosthetics. So, of course, it made them talk really funny whenever you're Klingon.
And it's very, very obvious.
It's even worse. It was so bad, like especially for Takuma, because, and especially since he's talking in Klingon, which is weird. You figure if he's speaking in English, you'd be like, that's annoying to listen to. But even in Klingon, it sounded muffled.
Yeah.
Because, the Klingons like,
Yeah.
who's this? He sounded like he was talking through, like, a pillow. Klingons, we will do this thing. But whatever, that's what you get with makeup.
Yeah.
Intro is cool. I didn't have a problem with the intro video. Music's fine. The traveling through warp effect is alright. Pretty cool.
Yeah, I like the little sound
like,
it makes when they come back. They're like, yeah, like.
When they're traveling, there's no like stars shooting at you. It's like this stream of like, which is cool.
Which I mean, I think that's more realistic if you think about like the theory of warp travel and how it would look. Like you wouldn't be flying like you are normally. Like it wouldn't be a star.
In real life, it'd just be a black screen with stars that were not moving.
Well, I mean, you got to think it would be probably some sort of distorted reality because you're physically bending time and space.
Well, okay, yeah. You know who did a really good job? I don't know if you saw Star Trek Beyond.
I haven't. I haven't seen any of the newer movies. I've only seen the original.
They do this. They do this effect. They actually show from like far away the ship just traveling through space, like at warp. But it's doing this like this milky disruption of like space,
and that makes sense. Yeah,
that looks really cool. I love that. It'd be nice if they stuck to one standard. Like it seems like every Star Trek has a different one.
Yeah,
which I guess whatever, artistic merit. I wrote in the first season, Suru was like my favorite character.
Yes,
for most episodes, he kind of got annoying. My species senses dangers. There's so many like inconsistencies, and this has to do with the writing. I'm pretty sure just the switching of writers.
Yeah,
where he's like, the first episode, they come across the beacon, the Klingon beacon, but their sensors can't see it. They're like, it's all garbled. But I'm like, so you don't have optical sensors. You have to physically go to a window and look, and then they use the old timey telescope.
Yeah,
to look at it. And Sewer's looking through the telescope, and he's like, I have no idea what it is. It's too far away. But then, like, several episodes later, he's like, my species has, like, super heightened sight.
Senses,
senses and stuff. And even in a couple seasons later, he uses it as a plot point because he can see so well. Which isn't developed in that episode, but like I don't know.
Maybe his naked eye is better than humans, but through a telescope it's distorted or something. I don't know.
I just chalks it up. I keep trying to do this on my notepad.
Yeah, swipe.
Yeah,
I mean, just lick your finger a little. It'll work. I actually the one episode I didn't like him in was in. I forget the name of the episode, but it was the one where they found that tower, the crystal tower that they were going to use.
When he turns into an asshole?
Yeah, I just
saw that today. Yeah, and at first, I'm like, okay, so it's like one of those taking over your brain kind of alien situations. Then it's just, that's just how he was. And I'm like, well, why is he in charge? Why is he in charge of anything if he's that easily swayed?
Exactly. But beyond that, too,
I seem so weak.
So, I don't know how to articulate this, but I mean, he became an asshole. He became very irrational, and it just wasn't. I didn't like it. I don't know. And
it was out of nowhere. There was no telling us like that he's had this profound experience.
Right.
He's just like, I talked to the aliens. Give me your phasers, crunch.
Yeah.
Throws them away. I'm like, okay, so he has like super Hulk strength too. Okay.
Well, no, it wasn't. He talked to the aliens. He talked to the captain, and they were like, "Well, how's that possible?" And then he made up some story about how he was able to do it with the tower or something. And it was like you could tell it was total BS.
Yeah.
Like there was no way he talked to the captain.
And
then they still offered up their phasers.
Like, I talked to Discovery and. They said we can live here forever or something. He basically wants to live on the planet forever, even though they're in the middle of this mission which I must mention, that is the only away mission in the entire first season. To a planet.
Really?
Yeah.
Well, I mean, except for the first episode, obviously. starting off.
Okay, fine. You want to, but
technically,
you want to do that? Be technical. Okay, fine. You're right. But yeah, and that's what a lot of people complain about. There's no Star Trek like episodes because it's this long arcing story.
I mean, I don't know, and maybe I'm just guessing because I have no research to back this up, but maybe in the timeline they haven't discovered as many planets since it's so early in the timeline. I don't know.
Well, they make a lot of like hubbub about discovery and like going where no one's gone before and stuff.
Yeah,
but they don't actually do it because they're too busy being at war.
Right.
Which
fine,
they're at war, so I guess you can explore. Yeah. Your ship's called Discovery.
Should discover something.
Why they should have named the ship that just keeps shooting at shit.
The ship keeps shooting at shit.
The
Klingon destroyer.
It keeps going all the way around. Yeah, there you go. Klingon destroyer.
Klingon killer.
When first episode, a lot of my notes from the first episode.
Captain Killy.
Captain Killy. That's not very original.
I love it.
I'm literally on that episode right now. I
watched it this morning, so it's what's fresh in my mind.
I wrote, it must suck to be Doug Jones.
Why?
Every role he gets, he has to wear a ton of makeup and prosthetics and stuff.
Really?
Have you seen Doug Jones without the makeup?
No.
Yeah, he plays Zero, and he's just a tall guy. Tall, weird guy. You know, there's always those guys. Waxana's manservant from Next Gen.
Yes.
Lurch. I think he was in something and he was called Lurch.
Yes, wasn't he in what was it? The Addams Family?
Yes, yep. Yeah. He was in these poor like super tall people that rolled together.
Well, it's no worse than the really, really short people that end up being midgets or Oompa Loompas or. You know.
I just felt bad for Doug Jones because he has to wear all that makeup. On top of that makeup, he's wearing like stilettos. I don't know if you ever noticed the way Suru.
No.
He stands on his toes and his hind leg, his heels are in the air when he walks. It's weird.
That's really weird.
I wrote, why don't they use the shuttle to go to the weird sensor glitch thing instead of having Burnham fly across an asteroid field in a spacesuit?
They gave a reason. I don't remember what the reason was, but
Burnham flying through asteroids seems like part one of many scenes like this, following JJ movies 1 and 2 having the flying through space scenes. In the first Star Trek movie, we had the jumping off the shuttle down to the platform to stop the Romulans. And the second one, we had the Khan and Kirk trying to fly between the two ships through the asteroid. They keep saying this is Prime Universe, but it is not. All canon breaking Klingon stuff is fine with me. I said. They actually follow the Klingon death ritual, where they make sure that the Klingon's eyes are open.
Yeah.
And they scream.
Yeah.
I wrote Vulcan learning pods from when Burnham was a kid in the Vulcan learning centers. Straight out of J.J. Abrams. In fact, they're exactly from the J.J. Abrams.
Really?
Yeah. Those little like domes into the ground.
Huh.
They stand in. I'm sure they borrowed the same exact set. It makes more sense. I wrote, haven't seen Klingons in 100 years. This is the first time they've seen the Klingons in 100 years. I wrote, check date, which I didn't do. I feel like they would have seen the Klingons after Enterprise. They just never saw the Klingons for 100 years.
Yeah.
I don't know. I didn't look that one up, so I'm not going to give it.
See, I never even questioned that because I haven't finished watching Enterprise and didn't really have much knowledge of it.
I like it. They're forming the Federation. The Klingons aren't part of it, so I don't. I'm thinking of like the very last episode.
Yeah.
Klingon teeth. That's what I'm talking about. How the Klingon talk.
Yeah.
Hologram. I wrote hologram tech pisses me off. Okay.
There's your Doug Jones, by the way.
There he is. I'm a really tall weird guy.
That's him without the makeup.
There's episodes with him without the makeup. They somehow managed to do that in Discovery season 3. Yeah, he's like, I'm me without makeup. What's going on? It's some sort of illusion. The Vulcan hello, that episode 1.
Yeah.
The actual Vulcan hello is to fire on Klingons instead of avoid or talk to them.
Right.
Because that's what Vulcans would do.
That's what they said, isn't it?
They're like...
That's what the whole mutiny thing was. Like, she came in and said, you have to shoot on them.
Because her dad told her
via
hologram
right
that's what the Vulcans did. They shot on the Klingons. But he said that's because the Klingons attacked them whenever they saw them, so they just did the same. This is humans seeing Klingons, and Burnham's like, oh, so we got to shoot at them. That'll make sense. That's great. Perfect. Whatever. We see the beginnings of Burnham's whisper yell crying at Giorgio before she, like, pinches her and knocks her out.
Yeah.
So we have to do the thing. I don't know if you're familiar with the whisper crying that she does.
Mm-hmm.
It's way more prominent in season 2, you'll see.
Yeah.
Like, the entire show comes to a stop, so she can be like, we're family. You're my family. And I will never forget you.
It's like terrible acting.
Yeah, she's not the greatest actress. I like her, but she's not. Star Trek should never focus on one single character, ever.
Yeah.
It should always be about the crew. Do you know anything about any of the bridge members other than Burnham, the captain, Ash Tyler, and Doug Jones?
And Tilly.
Well, Tilly, yeah. We got the two.
That's about it, though.
We got the 2 people, the redhead with the eye thing.
No, I mean, that's about all we know about.
Oh, right.
Yeah.
We got a Wushkison, she's African. The black chick, a Wushkison. Something like that. A Wushikin. And we have a really young Asian guy who seems to be in some sort of ops position.
Yeah.
We have bearded black guy who is back against the wall. We have half robot woman. The white woman.
Yes.
What the hell is her name?
It's almost like an early android.
Yeah. But in that goes on. Literally, none of these characters get any kind of main scene, any like real dialogue, any backstory, nothing. I've heard
they should have just put them in red shirts and gotten it over with.
If they were just dying, that would be great.
Yeah, but they're recurring characters.
Yeah, they're like main characters that you never learn anything about them. And what's weird is things happen to them. Yeah. The redhead, I'm guessing she's like the Chekhov. She flies the ship.
Yeah.
And between the first and second episode, and then she goes from being on the Shinjo to being on the Discovery.
Right.
On the Shinjo, she's got long hair. There's nothing wrong with her. On Discovery, like, she's got half her head shaved, and she's got some prosthetic eye piece. Like she's been in some battle.
Yeah.
Never learned anything about that.
Well, maybe it was an injury from the Shenzhou, and we're just supposed to assume that.
Okay, so am I the only one that just like watches a show and expects to like learn about, especially characters that appear to be?
I would say you're not the only one because I feel the same way, but I also like I have a tendency to fill in gaps with my imagination when I watch things.
No,
like, well, it must be because of this, and
you know. I need everything explained to me. I can't use my imagination. I need every little thing explained to me. God damn it. Make me look like an idiot.
Well, I know it's something I do in like real life too. Like if someone's telling me a story and they leave out a big detail, I'm like, oh, well, it must have been because of this.
Well, that's a huge like thing when people criticize, like how did this happen and nobody explained it?
Well, yeah, I mean they're expected to tell us the story. I mean
that's why everyone. A lot of people complain about prequels. Like we don't need a prequel. We don't need to know how Captain Kirk like first got aboard the Enterprise. Like we can fill that in ourselves.
Yeah.
Stop going to prequels. We can figure that out what happened. like Prometheus is like a prequel to Aliens.
Yeah.
Everyone's like, we don't want to know what happened to the engineers and how they found the alien eggs in the first place and where they came from. That's meant to be left up to your imagination. But of course, that's always it's a mineral we can mine for. We can get more people to view our movies because it explains some little tiny piece.
Yeah.
Ugh. Okay, Whisper Cry. I like the phasers. Did you notice like the phasers have like lenses on the front? Like 3 different, almost like camera lenses. I guess that's like the
different settings.
Intensity for the beam. I thought that was really cool. Whereas like old school TOS, it was just like a satellite dish.
Yeah.
On the front of it. So
I forgot about that. That's funny.
I'm still in like episode 1 and 2. Like that's why I stopped writing notes. I was like, I would have way too many notes. So they haven't run into the Klingons in 100 years, yet somehow the computer detects Klingon ships are showing up. I don't know if you remember when all the Klingon ships start showing up, it shows like little Klingon logos on the screen. I'm like, how would the computer know to put those there if we've never seen the Klingons in 100 years and know what a Klingon ship looks like? Michael Burnham had to go visually ID that they were Klingons because they couldn't detect them.
Right.
That's nitpicking. That's nitpicking. Oh, I'm now on episode 2. Just now.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. That's what I was like, I probably should make this like my own little like Mr. Plankett's review. I don't know. You never see Mr. Plankett. Mr. Plankett.
Nope.
You never watched I'll have to show it to you. He does like the reviews of like these Star Wars. He had like the most famous Star Wars review ever on the internet. I'll send it to you. Anyway, he plays like this nitpicky character that goes through like entire movie and picks out all these things, whether or not they even really matter. I wrote lateral vector transporter is cool. I have no idea what it is, but it's some sort of precursor to the transporters that we know and love today. I don't know if you noticed in the transporter rooms, there's like these giant satellite dishes. Yeah. Instead of those little pads. I mean, there's pads, but there's like a giant satellite dish pointed at it. Yeah. I thought that was neat. Yeah, go ahead.
It was it was a precursor to the transporter that we know from the Next Gen and original series.
Like in canon?
But it was obsolete. It was made obsolete because of the massive amount of power it consumed.
Oh. So they do say that the Shenzhou is an old ship. I remember them saying that. And there's a lot of things like that in the first season.
It's also on the USS Hiawatha, apparently.
What? I'm not that nerdy.
I'm not either.
It's just some fan film ship.
No. I think it was... It says Discovery Battle of the Binary Stars.
Oh, okay. So they must have showed some other ship with the transporter in it or something. Interesting. Show was very heavy with the TOS sound effects in the first 2 episodes. I think they definitely ease off on that.
I noticed that, that you have that little like twangy sound that they have in the bridge all the time. And it just kind of like slowly goes away as you go further into season 1.
They get away from it.
I noticed. I liked it though. It irritated me that they got rid of it. Like,
oh really?
Yeah.
I thought it was too much.
Like I said, my issue with Discovery is that it's a precursor to the original series, but it's way more technologically advanced.
This might as well came. Yeah, they might as well come after Next Gen.
So
technology wise, because of the effects that we can do nowadays. But I liked those little throwbacks, like that sound, because it made it more real, and it helped me get past the fact that it was way more advanced. Which is so weird because those sounds are so like 60s. Yeah, those sounds are they're analog. They're analog.
The theremin and
yeah. They're like analog versions of what a digital computer is supposed to be,
right?
Like, which is great. I wrote "Exploding Consoles for the Win." The second episode, they had a Star Trek classic the exploding console.
Yeah.
Space Battle, the Battle of the Binary Stars was pretty good. I wrote tame compared to the season 2 cluster crap. The battle over the AI guy. You don't remember the season 2 battle where 50,000 fighter jets come out of the Discovery?
I haven't seen season 2 yet.
Oh, you haven't? Okay, sorry. Spoiler alert.
Remember, I stopped after season 1, and then now I'm going back to rewatch season 1 before I do season 2. So
Okay. I wrote Sarek be putting his Katra in everyone. I don't know why I wrote that.
It was kind of a weird storyline though to understand that she wouldn't be alive right now if it wasn't for a little piece of Sarek that he put in.
Yeah. And he put it in Spock, he put it
or
in
the
wife.
Vulcan soul as they described it on Discovery.
Well, that's what it's always been. That's what they've always said.
Yeah.
That's the only explanation for it. The Vulcan, some sort of soul. I feel like Sarek has been.
See, I always thought of it as more of a Vulcan consciousness than a soul.
Well, yeah. It's a more technically, it's not like a spiritual thing.
I guess they are the same thing. Soul would be a more spiritual version of the consciousness. Okay. I can see that.
A concussed crewmate says, "Why are we fighting? We're Starfleet. We're explorers." I said, "Yes, duh."
But they're at war.
Yeah. Right. I keep forgetting that. I got to keep remembering. War. There's no Star Trek. There's no hugs and fun. Okay, it's all miserable. Burnham talks the computer into releasing her from the brig using ethical protocols.
Yeah.
Do you remember that scene?
Yes.
I was like, what?
I was kind of like, if this is an all-powerful computer from the future, like, a human shouldn't be explaining its logic. Like, it should just be able to.
The computer should know you're in danger. You need to leave the brig. You shouldn't have to explain it to the computer. My thing is, if you're in the brig, so anytime we ever seen anyone in a brig ever past that point, they should be like, "Hey, I might die. Can you let me out?"
Yeah.
If there's such thing.
Suddenly I can't breathe.
I'm dying. Let me out. Processing. You notice that the computer sounds like Alexa?
I did not.
Oh, yeah. It's a female voice. She's like, "Hello. Thank you for contacting the computer." Once I got an Alexa, I couldn't help but notice it. Worker bees have no autopilot. That's retarded.
What has autopilot?
Okay, so Discovery has these things called worker bees.
Yeah.
Which I guess replace shuttle pods. They don't have. They're the things with the claws that fly around.
Yeah.
And they can they're like
kind of like the drones on FTL.
Yeah. And they're they fix things.
Yeah.
And I don't remember why they wanted to use it. They're like, we want to put a bomb on one and send it to the Klingon ship. But they're like, why don't we use a worker bee? They're like, they have no autopilot. You could magic away some bullcrap.
I always did wonder, though, throughout all the different Star Treks, like, they don't put very much focus on, like, spacewalks and, like, doing repairs outside. Like, obviously that has to happen.
Not really till First Contact do we ever see them, like, out on the ship.
Yeah.
Outside of the ship.
It's rare. I mean...
It is. I agree.
But
crazy.
In real life, I mean, people do spacewalks on the space station, and
I sort of put that away. The worker bees and stuff. They have all these ships that, like in the episode I'm watching, where they just made it to the evil universe, the mirror universe, and they're using these worker bees to repaint the ship with the new logo.
Yes.
So they fit in and stuff. I'm like, all right, that kind of makes sense.
Yes.
Burnham screams weird.
Screams weird?
I wrote that down. I don't know what the context is. Apparently she screams weird.
Okay.
Keep an eye out for that, folks. Takuvbus. outfit is literally made out of glitter glue and craft store gems.
Seriously?
The close up, I'm guessing, where Burnham like puts a hole in him.
Yeah.
And he's like dying, and they're like doing when the albino Klingon's like leaning over talking to Kuma as he's dying. If you look at his costume, it's definitely rubber with glitter glue.
I mean, they do a better job of hiding it. It's not like a cardboard set like the original series, but...
Yeah, but we get... The original series, come on, man, it came out in the 60s.
Yeah.
It wasn't even intended to, like, last that long. Episode 3, Burnham Sucks. That's what I wrote. Oh, so this is where Burnham's a hardened space criminal now.
Yes.
So this is where I started to lose interest in writing notes. He's hanging out with all these like sleazy, like hardcore criminals. They're like, "What did you do?"
Yeah.
Oh, I started the war between the Klingons and the whatevers.
Yeah.
And then I said the beauty shot of Discovery was not bad. Commander Landry, she was in Battlestar, which I'm watching right now. Black Badge, isn't that section 34? As they're coming on the ship, they see somebody. One of the criminals says, "Black Badge. I've never seen a black badge before."
Yeah, I remember that.
And I thought that was section 34, which Discovery didn't know about until season 2. So what's up with the black badge? Just letting that out there. Criminals eat in the mess hall with the crew instead of at the brig where they should be eating. That was weird. You remember when they
I didn't recognize that.
Oh yeah, in season. Remember when Burnham gets in a fight with that criminal chick?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Huh.
I thought that was weird the first time I saw it. I'm like, why are they like eating with? I know like security's there, but I don't know. That's just weird.
Yeah.
That they would have them mingle with the crew. What's up with Lorca's Tribble? I never see it reproduce. And there's a whole bowl of fortune cookies next to it. Don't Tribbles eat and then make lots of babies? What's up with that? So maybe this will literally be like rapid fire news for you. Maybe he neutered it or something.
Maybe. Found a way to,
stop them from
fucking like rabbits.
Yeah, they don't bang, Rich.
Well,
they literally eat, and that makes them reproduce.
Right.
They're asexual.
Like multiplying like rabbits, I guess is probably better.
Yeah.
Or did you ever watch the show Brickleberry?
No, because I thought that was a Family Guy wannabe ripoff.
So there is an episode of Brickleberry where they're trying to create the cutest animal because they have a war with Yellowstone National Park, basically.
Yeah.
And they create these squirrel rabbit hybrids called squabbits. And they're super cute. And but they do literally fucking multiply like rabbits, and like hundreds of them all like immediately like
they
take over the whole park. It's pretty damn funny, but
that's what they do.
It is very reminiscent of them though.
Yeah, exactly. No, I understood the analogy or the metaphor or the colloquialism or whatever.
Here's a good picture of the squabbits.
Oh, good. We have a picture ready.
I do have a picture, actually.
Rich, do you remember the breath scan door?
I did, and I thought, wow, that's weird.
And wasn't it weird that they never showed it again?
They haven't?
No, that was the only time they ever show a door that opens by breathing on it.
Huh.
You know the last time I saw that technology was?
Where?
Alien Resurrection. They had doors because Winona Ryder had like an old timey. Oh, good, that's cute.
That's your squabbits.
Alien Resurrection. They basically. I can never think of the words I need when I need them. They establish that these super security doors only open by by breathing
Yeah.
onto this sensor, and it detects your DNA or whatever, and it lets you in. And Winona Ryder, she like tries to break into the room. She's got this giant keychain with little spray bottles on it, and she goes tss, 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 on the door. And it's like, incorrect person. She goes to the next one. Tss, tss, tss. Welcome, officer. Blah blah blah. And she gets in, and I'm like, wow, that was like straight out of Alien Resurrection. And it's never mentioned or seen again, Rich.
Weird.
That is weird. That's nitpicking.
It may, and it makes you wonder. Maybe they're just trying things, seeing how they go.
Well, obviously, season ones are. Oh, is that where I stopped? That's where I gave up. That's where I gave up, Rich.
Okay.
Yeah. So that's my notes.
It's
only the first 3 episodes, and I gave up. I'm like, that's too many notes.
Yeah. I don't know. I really like it. And your 3 episodes and our commentary has almost hit an hour. So,
Jesus Christ.
yeah.
All right. Well, next week we'll do the next 3 episodes. The episode still that stands out is episode 7 with
Really?
With Mud.
Oh yeah. That's by far my favorite. I do like that.
Yeah.
Like how he comes in and he takes over the ship and
he keeps blowing it up and then remembering what happened last time, so he can like bypass security.
I love the next gen episodes that are where they're stuck in time loops and stuff.
Time loops, yeah. That's why I it felt the most Star Trek-y.
Exactly. I loved it.
In the montage of him like killing the captain.
Yeah.
Over and over. He said, "How many times have I killed you already?" Rainn Wilson does an awesome Harry Mudd.
He really does. I got to hand it to him.
Oh, you know what? That's the last time we've seen him because we're now 4 seasons in and he's gone. And they're 1,000 years in the future, so we're never going to see him again.
True.
Unless he somehow manages to make it in the future. But the show goes so downhill, I don't care at that point.
Yeah.
I feel like I've talked too much this episode, Rich.
Well, I mean,
can you stop texting for a second and give us some?
I'm not texting.
Stop Facebooking.
I'm not Facebooking.
Stop receiving messages on your fucking phone.
I can't control people that message me.
Mute your phone!
It's not my phone. It's my computer.
I'm so sick of this right now, Rich. Shut up. Do what you know I want you to do.
Anyways.
Do it.
No, and I mean, it's fine that you do all the talking because this is like...
Well, you're actually watching Star Trek. I want your input.
Yeah, but I've given my commentary
okay.
throughout the entire show, but you had detailed notes and a flow that I didn't have. So, and now you're going to eat fried chicken on the air. This is Star Trek ASMR.
Wow.
or is it ASMR or is it mukbang?
That's mukbang.
Mm.
I'll eat a whole bucket of chicken if we get some views. I'm not a cute Asian girl, though, so it won't
you
work.
are not, so it won't work for you.
Oh, wait, next week, what? Are we going to keep talking about season 1?
I think we should at least close it out on the next episode, and then maybe we can see where we're at in the show if we're in season 2.
We got to keep watching?
Yeah, I'm going to keep watching. Whether or not you do, I could care less.
I can't believe you haven't even seen season 2.
Sorry, I gave up. That was the whole thing.
Oh, you gave up on season 1?
Yes.
Oh, that's weird. I gave up on season 2. I was like, I like Pike. I like they brought Pike in. And that's why I like season 1. If they just kept the themes and everything of season 1 into season 2, instead of trying to redo everything and match whatever's popular. They're like, oh shit, nobody likes the dark stuff, so let's make it funny. Let's try to be like the Orville.
It's kind of like the EA of the Star Trek universe. Dude,
for real. That's it, exactly.
Everybody likes Fortnite.
Let's try to make Star Trek more like Fortnite. Exactly. It's a bunch of writers that have no balls on a vision, so they just.
Yeah. What are you gonna do?
I was gonna play the Star Trek Interactive Tactical Manual, but it wouldn't run on my computer. So, and they don't say on it what version.
You should get a ISO made of it, and I can run it on my Windows 98 machine.
Yeah, I can rip it. I just need to get the software. And it doesn't say anywhere what version of Windows it's made for. Usually every piece of software is like, oh, wait,
Windows
DOS.
98 or higher.
Oh, it says DOS.
Oh, there you go.
That DOS, that's the only thing that says possibly what OS it is. At the DOS prompt, type this. But I definitely recall using it on Windows 95 or 98.
Well, yeah, you got to think up until XP. Those were all
XP
DOS
isn't based on DOS.
Yeah,
You're right.
Yeah,
XP
it's
is
NT.
NT. NT technology. New technology. So, I guess this has been Star Trek news for this week, day, year, month, whatever.
Whenever we have time to watch the rest of season 1.
Yes, I'm your host, Captain Pearson.
I'm number
Lieutenant.
1, Rich.
You are number 1. Live long and prosper, bitches.
Live long and prosper, bitches. I like that.
Someday I'll
You
be able
still
to do
can't
it.
do it. That's crazy.
I can't